With the release of Possessor, we see the return of prodigal son Brandon Cronenberg with his second directorial effort. This sophomore film sees Cronenberg make a more mental horror-based experience rather than making a second body horror film. The main character, Tasya, works for an assassination organization that uses brain implant technology to inhabit people's bodies, which helps them greatly conceal their part in said assassinations by framing the mind-jacked individuals. It seems that over the years, Tasya has become more and more detached from her own personal identity due to her really being emotionally detached from her family life and constantly switching bodies for her job, which in turn has affected her ability to keep control of the people she possesses. She finds herself more and more clinging to the lives of her victims, almost dreading going back to her own life. She also has seemed to develop a growing bloodlust over the years. No doubt due to her job, she hides that and her true emotions from her family, something we see others in the film do. She uses her manufactured identity of a mostly content wife and mother as a mask to project a sense of normalcy. Her newest target for assassination is a wealthy businessman. To get close to him, she takes control of his future son-in-law, who, due to their unstable relationship, makes him the perfect target to frame for a murder-suicide. Of course, this hit doesn't go as planned, as Tasya loses control of her target, so she is unable to exit his mind through suicide. I believe this is due to her on a subconscious level being attached to Colin's identity and some tampering from her agency. Brandon Cronenberg expertly communicates Tasya's lack of control and individuality via her experience possessing Colin. Instead of being a professional and expertly pretending to be her target, she seems insecure when doing actions and starts to highlight Colin's inner insecurities, such as his hatred for his father-in-law and status in life, something Colin himself would hide. This isn't her emulating Colin's regular actions, but an hyperbolic presentation of them, which is why he seems off to everyone. That's where the horror comes in an internal form. The bodily autonomy of characters are being stripped and their mind is being invaded. It showcases the terror of having someone control your body and commit heinous actions that seem to stem from your own inner desires. Like in the opening, where you could in a sense tell that the first possessed person truly hated serving a bunch of blowhards and probably at least harbored a deep hatred for her employers. The Possessions flips the dynamics of many scenes, such as warping an act of intimacy into what's essentially an act of assault, which breeds a deep discomfort within the viewer. Its ending, Confrontation, is fascinating, as it at times becomes hard to distinguish who is committing what actions. Was Tasya expressing an inner desire by killing her son and husband? Or was it truly Colin committing the acts of violence? I personally see it as the former, because that would align so well with everything we saw before. The whole botched mission seems to be a part of her company's plan to further strip her of her own identity and emotions, to warp her into a perfect killing machine so she can replace her boss Girder. As apparent from the ridiculous decision to possess the main character's child instead of some random person off the street, Tasya killing her son and husband would be the final severance needed to fully strip her of her humanity, which would prevent her from further clinging to targets' minds and remove her only external distractions. In the end, it seems like they were successful, given that Tasya's response to a butterfly she killed has changed.
I killed and mounted it one summer when I was a girl, and then I felt guilty about it. I still feel guilty about it. This is also mine. I killed and mounted it one summer when I was a little girl.
Very good.
They exploited her personal turmoil perfectly and removed whatever emotions that she had left. While the film toys around with the concept of personal identity, manufactured identities, and bodily autonomy, it also serves as an observation of megacorporations and their view of their employees and how they wish them to be. Not an individual, but an entity that only exists to serve their profit holders. We often see companies dead set on molding their employees into mindless cogs, whose whole existence revolves around their work. After all, if their whole life is their job, then they can work excessive overtime with no problem. They want them to be an identityless machine that is meant to work until death and then be replaced by another drone. The film as a whole shows an assured step forward for Brandon Cronenberg as a director. Granted, it's nowhere near the Olympian standards of his father. Do you agree with my explanation of Possessor? Comment down below if you do or don't.